Good morning, students. I hope you are all doing good. Let us see what we are going to discuss in today's class. In previous class, we have seen that when a solution is going to be prepared, generally we will add solute to solvent. Okay, here let us consider this solvent, water, and solute is NaCl. Okay, ma? When we are adding that NaCl to water, what is going to be happen? First, as soon as if you add this NaCl to water, some amount of energy is required to break the force, electrostatic force present between Na plus and Cl minus ions. That is called lattice enthalpy. Lattice enthalpy will be absorbed. By the absorption of lattice energy, NaCl is converted to Na plus ions and Cl minus ions. And these Na plus and Cl minus ions are going to be surrounded by water molecules because of opposite charges. See, Na plus contains positive charge which is surrounded by water molecules by facing or by nearing oxygen, because oxygen has negative charge, it is more electronegative than hydrogen. Same like that chlorine has negative charge, but it is surrounded by water molecules by nearing hydrogen, because hydrogen has partial positive charge. So like this chlorine minus chloride ion and Na plus ions are surrounded by water molecules. At the time they are going to be surrounded by water molecules, some amount of energy is going to be released, which is called hydration energy. So delta H solution should be written as delta H lattice energy, that means delta H lattice plus delta H hydration, means lattice energy plus hydration energy. Lattice energy plus hydration energy is equal to solution energy while we are preparing a solution by adding solute to solvent. Is it clear, ma? Now let us see what we are going to explain in this one. This is called enthalpy of solution. We kept the heading, ma. Under the heading, that is enthalpy of solution, we are studying now. See, delta H solution is equal to lattice enthalpy plus hydration enthalpy. For most of the ionic compounds, delta H solution is positive and the dissociation process is endothermic. Therefore, the solubility of most salts in water increases with the rise of temperature. For most of the ionic compounds, delta H solution is positive. That means energy is going to be absorbed. Those are all endothermic in nature. Okay. Therefore, the solubility of most salts in water increases with rise of temperature. For endothermic process, solubility is in endothermic process. Okay. For that, if you increase the temperature, the process also will be increased. That means the solubility also increases. If the lattice enthalpy is very high, the dissolution of the compound may not take place at all. If the lattice enthalpy is very high, that means easily the bond cannot be broken. Ionic bond cannot be broken easily. That is only lattice enthalpy is very high. See, if this lattice enthalpy is very high, the energy required to break this NaCl to Na plus and Cl minus ions is very high. In that condition, they cannot undergo dissociation and it is formed as precipitate. If the lattice enthalpy is very high, the dissolution of the compound may not take place at all. Why do many fluorides tend to be less soluble than the corresponding chlorides? Estimates of the magnitudes of enthalpy changes may be made by using tables of bond energies and lattice energies. By using these lattice energies and bond energies, we can say why these fluorides are not soluble in water when compared to chlorides. In that conditions, lattice energy is very high. F minus is very small, it has strong attraction towards the cation. That's why it cannot be broken down. Fluorides cannot be broken down easily. They have high lattice enthalpy. Is it okay, ma? Next, they gave the definition related to lattice enthalpy. Now let us see what is the definition of this lattice enthalpy. Already I wrote the definition of lattice enthalpy in terms of two definitions we can write lattice enthalpy, that is the amount of energy required to convert one mole of ionic compound into its constituent ions is called lattice enthalpy. The amount of energy required to convert one mole of ionic compound into its constituent ions is called lattice enthalpy. In another way, the amount of energy released when constituent ions are attracted to form one mole of ionic compound. One mole of ionic compound is also called as lattice enthalpy. Amount of energy released when constituent ions are attracted to form one mole of ionic compound is also called as lattice enthalpy. In both ways, according to situation, we will use see, Na plus ions and Cl minus ions are present far away. Because of the electrostatic force, they are coming together. Na plus ions and Cl minus ions are far away. They are present far away. Because of the electrostatic force, they are coming nearer by each other. They will combine with each other to form NaCl. This is attraction. In previous class, I told that when a bond is going to be formed, energy will be released. When a bond is going to be cleaved or broken, energy is absorbed. Those two terms you have to remember very carefully. Now, because of these electrostatic forces of attraction, NaCl is going to be formed. At the time of formation of NaCl, energy is going to be released. 1 mole of NaCl, energy is going to be released, which is called lattice enthalpy. This is according to condition, we will say. At the same time, when NaCl is already present, now I am giving some amount of energy to break NaCl into Na plus and Cl minus ions. 1 mole of NaCl into Na plus and Cl minus ions. Here the attraction is going to be broken down. That's why energy will be absorbed. Okay, this is also called lattice enthalpy. But same amount of energy. Here this energy and this energy numerically both are same only. But in here it is getting absorbed, here it is getting released. If you say here plus A kilojoules per mole, here you will write minus A kilojoules per mole. Lattice enthalpy. Is it okay, ma? Every time if it is energy released, we will write minus. If it is energy absorbed, we will write plus. That is about this thing. Are you clear, ma? This is about lattice enthalpy definition. And Born-Haber cycle already I explained for you. Now we will see what about that one. Once again, out of total thing, NaCl is the highly stable. When compared to any other thing, NaCl is highly stable. That's why it has low energy. The substance which has lower energy will be highly stable. And highest energy is contained by Na plus Cl minus. Cl gas. Na plus Cl gas. This is containing highest energy. Least stable. Is it okay, ma? Now, first we started from here. This is one step process. We started from here. Na solid plus half Cl2 gas gives rise to NaCl. This is heat of formation, enthalpy of formation. Enthalpy of formation value minus 411.2 kilojoules per mole. This is one step process. Yesterday I have shown Born-Haber cycle. In that, this is the step. This is heat of formation, enthalpy of formation. Now here onwards they gave Na solid. They gave some amount of energy. It is converted to Na gas. Half Cl2 for that no energy is given. That's why half Cl2 gas like that only it is present. Na gas. This Na gas will absorb some more amount of energy and energy is increased. Okay, then it will be formed as Na plus. That is called ionization enthalpy. Ionization enthalpy is given as plus 495.6. Then this Na plus gas is present like that. Half Cl2 will absorb some amount of energy, that is half of bond dissociation enthalpy of Cl2. You will be formed as Na plus Cl gas. The Cl gas will absorb electron to release energy. That's why its energy is going to be decreased. The Cl, after losing energy, it is converted to Cl minus. How much amount of energy is lost? 348.6 kilojoules per mole amount of energy is lost. Then it is converted to Cl minus. Here already Na plus is there. This Na plus is present like that. This Na plus and Cl minus, they will combine to release amount of energy again. That is called lattice energy. Lattice energy is negative here because they are going to combine with each other. That is exothermic process. NaCl is formed. This is called lattice enthalpy. Okay, ma? In terms of enthalpy, energy wise, they gave this diagram. I think you are clear only. This is single step and these are all multiple steps. But anyways, according to Hess law, energy involved in single step is equal to energy involved in multiple steps. Okay, ma? This is the explanation. And in terms of sentences, they gave this explanation. Once if you read, you will understand that one. Is it clear? Now, finally, we are remained with spontaneity. Spontaneity of chemical reactions. We will see that one. First, what is meant by spontaneity and which type of reactions are spontaneous reactions? All these things we are going to see now. Okay, let us continue our topic. Till this, we have completed different forms of enthalpies. And in solutions, how we are going to use enthalpy. For combustion, one type of enthalpy. For formation, one type of enthalpy. Even though headings are different, okay, these are all forms of energy only. Is it okay? Now let us see what about this spontaneity. What about this spontaneity? Spontaneity is nothing but easily happening. Spontaneity or spontaneous is nothing but easily happening. Is it okay, ma? Meaning of this one, by knowing some properties, ma, we can say that whether the reaction is spontaneous or not. Easily happening means by using some properties we are going to say that whether the reaction is spontaneous or not. Okay, for that one new term is introduced, that is called Gibbs free energy. For that one useful term is used, that is called Gibbs free energy. Gibbs free energy is represented by delta G. Standard Gibbs free energy is represented by Standard Gibbs free energy is represented by delta G naught. Okay, ma? These are the terms we are going to use to say that whether the reaction is spontaneous or not. Okay? For saying this type of things, two properties are highly useful. Those two properties are enthalpy which is represented by H, and entropy which is represented by S. Till now we have seen what about that enthalpy clearly. Now we are remained with entropy only, but before that just I will recall what about this enthalpy. Enthalpy is nothing but heat content of the system. Enthalpy is nothing but heat content of the system. Okay, for an endothermic reaction, delta H, actually H is called enthalpy, delta H is called change in enthalpy. If you take only one system, for that enthalpy we will consider, but for a reaction we have two substances, reactants and products, so we are going to subtract one from another. Is it okay, ma? That means definitely we have to see the difference. That's the only change in enthalpy we are going to find. Delta H. Delta H is called change in enthalpy, H is called only enthalpy. For endothermic reaction, delta H is equal to positive. That means change in enthalpy is equal to positive. Next, for exothermic reaction, delta H is equal to negative. Till now we have seen like this. I hope you are clear about enthalpy. Till now we have studied already. Okay, ma? And these are the conclusions we made. Now, out of these two reactions, endothermic and exothermic, within general terms, which reaction is easily happening? That is exothermic only. So for a spontaneous reaction, exothermic reactions are spontaneous reactions. When compared to endothermic. Exothermic reactions are spontaneous reactions when compared to endothermic. Why? For example, at the time of Diwali, everyone will fire the crackers. Okay? Initially, let us take one cracker and give some flame. If you give some flame, automatically up to the completion of that cracker, it will burn. No need to give again further amount of heat energy. Initially we have to supply some amount of energy for every reaction, definitely, even it is exothermic also, because old bonds must be broken, na? Is it correct or not? Old bonds must be broken. To break that bonds, definitely some amount of energy is required, definitely. So initially if you give some amount of energy, and if you leave that one, and if you remove from that candle also, this sparkler will be keep on firing up to the completion of that compound present in that firecracker. Why? It is exothermic reaction. Spontaneously, easily it will happen. So initially if you give, like starting trouble, if you give some amount of energy, automatically that amount of energy is caught by that compound and it will undergo further reaction. No need to give further amount of energy. Is it correct or not? Not for that one, anything. Like this, exothermic reactions are spontaneous, meaning easily they will happen when compared to endothermic. But for endothermic, up to the completion of the reaction, we have to keep on supplying the energy. Up to the completion of the reaction, we have to supply amount of energy. That's why those are less spontaneous when compared to exothermic reactions. So we can write exothermic reactions are spontaneous reactions when compared to endothermic reactions. So for a exothermic reaction, it is delta H is equal to negative, na? So for a spontaneous reaction, delta H is equal to negative. For a spontaneous reaction, delta H is equal to negative. Up to here, it is clear about enthalpy. Next, we can come across with entropy. Entropy S. Okay, now the definition of this entropy is degree of disorderness. Degree of disorderness is called entropy. Degree of disorderness is called entropy. Meaning of that one, if the substance is highly disordered, it has high entropy. If the substance is highly disordered, then that substance has high entropy. If the substance is less disordered, then that substance has less entropy. Okay, let us consider three states of matter well known to us: gas, liquid, and solid. Out of these three states of matter, which is highly disordered? Gas. Gas is highly disordered because the particles are present somewhere. Intermolecular forces are very less, so the particles are scattered and they are moving randomness, so highly disordered. So gas has higher entropy than liquid. Liquid has greater entropy than solid. Entropy is represented by S. Degree of disorderness is called entropy. Now, change in entropy is represented by delta S. Change in entropy is represented by delta S. When a gas is changed from gas to liquid, there will be a change in entropy. When a liquid is changed from liquid to solid, there is a change in entropy. Like that, definitely when one state is changed to another state, okay, or even molecular state is converted to atomic state, molecules converted to atoms, this is also conversion. Okay, any type of conversion is finally leaded to change in entropy delta S. Okay, for this one notation is there: when there is increase in entropy, delta S is equal to positive. When there is decrease in entropy, delta S is equal to negative. Definition once again, entropy definition: degree of disorderness is called entropy. Okay, this is entropy order. Entropy of gas is greater than liquid. Entropy of liquid is greater than entropy of solid. Change in entropy is equal to delta S. Generally, when there is a change from one state to another state, there is a change in entropy, definitely. So when there is increase in entropy, delta S is equal to positive. When there is decrease in entropy, delta S is equal to negative. General formula of delta S is equal to heat involved in reversible change divided by temperature T. For example, if you take solid, in that solid particles are very closely packed with each other. By heating that solid, the particles will absorb the energy. So Q is increased. By heating, the particles are getting heated. Because of that, they will absorb the energy. So Q is increased. So the distance between the particles increases. And their disorderness increases. When there is increase in disorder, delta S is there. Change in entropy. So change in entropy is equal to Q reversible divided by temperature. This is temperature, delta S is directly proportional to Q reversible. That means amount of heat energy absorbed. How much amount of heat energy? Very high amount of energy is absorbed. Automatically more entropy change is there. That is delta S. Like that we are writing. Is it okay? And it is inversely proportional to change in temperature. Delta S is equal to Q reversible divided by temperature. Next, delta S system we can write change in entropy for system and change in entropy for surroundings also. Total delta S system plus delta S surroundings equal to delta S total. Delta S system plus delta S surroundings is equal to delta S total. These are all small things only. Now our important thing is, for a spontaneous reaction, what about delta S value? Okay, see, we have a liquid in a beaker. Simply by heating that liquid will be converted to gas. We have gas in a container. That gas must be liquefied. Simply it will not be liquefied. We have to change the temperature. We have to apply the pressure. Okay, like these factors are there to change that gas to liquid. Is it okay? So out of conversion of liquid to gas and gas to liquid, which is spontaneous process, liquid to gas only, it is spontaneous, because simply by heating, already previously they are ordered to convert that ordered molecules to disordered molecules, it is easy for us when compared to disordered molecules change to ordered. So this process is spontaneous. Liquid to gas, the process is spontaneous. For this, delta S is liquid S value is lower. Liquid S value is lower when compared to gas. So lower to higher, increase in entropy. Increase in entropy is nothing but delta S is equal to positive. Delta S is equal to positive for spontaneous reaction. Delta S is equal to positive for spontaneous reaction. We have seen this process example. Okay, easily we can convert that liquid to gas when compared to gas to liquid. So liquid to gas means there is an increase in entropy. When there is an increase in entropy, delta S is equal to positive. Is it okay? These are the things. So regarding enthalpy, for a spontaneous process, delta H is equal to negative. Regarding entropy, for a spontaneous process, delta S is equal to positive. Next. And depending on these two properties, we are going to introduce one new property called Gibbs free energy function. Gibbs energy function. Or Gibbs free energy. Okay, this is represented as G is equal to H minus Ts. Gibbs energy function is represented as G is equal to H minus Ts. H is enthalpy minus capital T is absolute temperature and S entropy. Okay, now delta G is equal to, this is like differentiation only, delta H minus T delta S minus S delta T. This is like UV formula. U into delta T, delta V, UV. In differentiation, you have UV formula, like that. U into delta V, minus is there. So minus of U into delta V plus V into delta U. UV differentiation is nothing but delta U into V plus U into delta V. This is the formula. delta u into v is equal to delta u into v plus u into delta v. But here minus is there now, for both of them we are getting minus. At constant temperature, delta T is equal to 0. But delta S is there. That's why this property is becoming 0. Therefore, delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. Delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. This is the formula useful for change in Gibbs free energy. Okay, ma? Delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. Now, for a spontaneous process, or for a spontaneous reaction or for a spontaneous process, delta H is equal to negative and delta S is equal to positive. Delta H is equal to negative and delta S is positive. Substitute these values. Delta G is equal to delta H is negative for spontaneous process minus, every time capital T means absolute Kelvin, it is 0 or positive value. Let us take positive value here. If you take 0, this is totally 0 only. Okay, capital T is equal to positive into delta S for spontaneous reaction is positive, negative minus, positive into positive positive, minus into positive minus, so total value negative. Delta G is equal to negative for a spontaneous reaction. Delta G is equal to negative for a spontaneous reaction if capital T is equal to positive, or capital T is equal to 0 Kelvin. Only two are possible because capital T has no negative values. Okay, delta G is equal to delta H minus 0. Delta H for a spontaneous process it is negative, so here negative 0, total negative. Anyways, delta G is equal to, we are getting negative for a spontaneous process. For a spontaneous process or spontaneous reaction, delta G is equal to negative V dot. Okay, that's why depending on this delta G value, we can tell that whether the reaction is spontaneous or not. Okay, finally I am going to write, for a spontaneous reaction, delta G is equal to negative. For a non-spontaneous reaction, means the reaction will not be happened easily when delta G is equal to positive. When a reaction is in equilibrium, delta G is equal to 0. For a spontaneous reaction, delta G is equal to negative. For a non-spontaneous reaction, delta G is equal to positive. And when a reaction is in equilibrium, delta G is equal to 0. Are you clear, ma'am? So depending on this delta G value, we can estimate that whether the reaction is spontaneous or non-spontaneous or it attains equilibrium. Okay, like this we can write. I hope you are clear by this one. Just observe here once. If we examine the phenomenon like flow of water downhill or fall of a stone onto the ground, we find that there is a net decrease in potential energy in the direction of change. By analogy, we may be tempted to state that a chemical reaction is spontaneous in a given direction because decrease in energy has taken place, as in the case of exothermic reactions. For example, see, for exothermic reactions the reactions are spontaneous. For exothermic reactions the reaction is spontaneous, and these are the exothermic reactions which are examples they gave. And next, coming to diagrams, reactants energy is greater, products energy is smaller. Total enthalpy of reactants, total enthalpy of products. Okay, reactants will lose energy to form products. Reactants will lose energy to form products. Net heat evolved in the reaction. This is called exothermic reaction. This is showing exothermic reaction. See, enthalpy diagram for exothermic reactions. Heat of energy for reactants is greater than heat of energy for products. Then when reactants are converted to products, energy is going to be released. What is the difference of energy? That amount of energy is going to be evolved. That's why it is represented as negative sign. Okay, next, coming to this diagram, heat energy of products is greater than heat energy of reactants. Enthalpy of products is greater than, total enthalpy of products is greater than, and total enthalpy of reactants. Then reactants are going to be converted to products by the absorption of energy. This much amount of energy is going to be absorbed. Net heat absorbed from the surroundings in the reaction. This is enthalpy diagram for endothermic reactions. Okay, every time we have to supply energy for endothermic reactions. That's why these are non-spontaneous when compared to exothermic reactions. But some endothermic reactions are also spontaneous found. Okay, next, our next thing is Gibbs energy change and equilibrium. For equilibrium reaction, Gibbs energy change is 0. Prediction of the spontaneity of the chemical. See, we have seen how a knowledge of the sign and magnitude of the free energy change of a free energy is nothing but Gibbs free energy only, okay, of a chemical reaction allows prediction of the spontaneity of the chemical reaction, prediction of the useful work that could be extracted from it. Okay, these are all things if you study you can understand. Now finally, for equilibrium process, A plus B is in equilibrium with C plus D. For this reaction, delta Rg is equal to 0. But standard Gibbs free energy will not be 0. Gibbs free energy for the reaction is 0, but standard Gibbs free energy is not 0. See, Gibbs energy for a reaction in which all reactants and products are in standard state, delta G0 is related to the equilibrium constant of the reaction as follows. 0 is equal to delta R G0 plus RT ln K. Okay, simply, otherwise you can remember only one thing, these formulae are enough. Delta R G0 is equal to minus RT ln K, where K is equal to equilibrium constant. Ln is nothing but natural logarithm. Ln is nothing but natural logarithm. If you want to convert that natural logarithm to common logarithm, we have to multiply with 2.303 minus 2.303 into RT log K. Okay, so finally delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S, which is equal to minus RT ln K. These are the formulae relating Gibbs free energy with enthalpy and entropy, and enthalpy and entropy, which is going to relate with equilibrium constant also, because for equilibrium process delta G is equal to 0, but standard Gibbs free energy is not equal to 0, And remaining topic, just if you read once, you will understand clearly. By this final point, it is possible to obtain an estimate of delta H naught from the measurement of delta H naught and delta S naught, and then calculate K at any temperature for economic yields of the products. If K is measured directly in the laboratory, value of delta G naught at any other temperature can be calculated. So by this, delta G is completed, that is Gibbs free energy, and this is about the completion of the chapter also. Okay, ma? This is called spontaneity of the reaction. By using this Gibbs free energy, we can estimate the spontaneity of the reaction. In what way? Final conclusion is this one. This is the final conclusion. And next thing is, they gave one table column in our textbook also. Small thing, see. Delta H, delta S, delta G. Delta H is negative, delta S is positive, delta G is negative. Reaction spontaneous at all temperature. Delta H is negative, delta S is negative. Delta G is negative at low temperature. According to the substitution of the values, you will get negative delta G at low temperature. Reaction spontaneous at low temperature. If both are negative, delta G is positive at high temperature. That means reaction is non-spontaneous at high temperature. Whatever they gave in tabular column, those are nothing but by substituting delta H values and delta S values in our formula, delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S we will get. Okay, and final conclusion which is helpful is this one only. Better to remember this one. Okay, ma? This is about completion of our chapter. Thank you all. Have a nice day.